bad, good.
All right, so it is Saturday, and I'm gonna try to get some stuff done this morning before it's time to go to the track. Supposed to go to the track with Randy and them this afternoon, so I decided to come out here, and we're gonna do some wiring. Here comes Harper. Do you want to come up in here? Come on. Yeah, she heard the phone turn on. Look at that cheek. What did you do to your cheek? Mama? She busted her butt on the hammock and fell on the porch and busted her cheek up. Yeah. So we come out here and wired up some lights this morning. Decided to knock this off the list on the inside, and I figured I would just show y'all real fast. All right, so you got them, which are the brighter ones. Harper, you like that? So them are the ones that we ordered, the same ones that Randy put in his car. They light the car up amazing on the inside. That way you can see how to work on it at night. And then, let's see here. And then I've got the accent ones, which are a lot dimmer if you don't want things like super blinding bright, you know, and you just want a little bit of light and not like, you know, a freaking UFO. So I like having both of them. That way, whatever this situation may need to be, you know, because if you're like street racing, you just need to see something, or you're on the line or something, you just need to see something real fast, these would be a whole lot better to use than these blinding guys. These are more for like if you're working on the car or in the pits or something. What you think, Harp?
Daddy.
That's Daddy's? What do you think about them? Pretty decent. I mean, these things light up where you can see everything. Look at that cheek, girl. You got that thing busted up. Yeah. All right, so we had a fuse block up there. If y'all remember in the other videos, we had all of our wires hooked up and we just had our lights working. Now we had nothing. We used to have wires hooked up over there. Now they're all cut. I lost my temper. There's the wiring. So I started working in there, and I was going to go over here and work on the other side and tie in, you know, running lights, parking lights, and all that. And then there's like wires laying around that I did like 6 months ago, and then you're trying to remember what they're for. And then, you know, a couple wires that didn't make sense, a couple wires that were wrapped around stuff that just looked messy. And being y'all have rode with me and followed me and realized that I just learned about Deutsch connectors recently and just figured out how to do them. So now that you know how to do that, this has been the common issue with this car, is that you do things one way and then you learn how to do it nicer. And so then it eats me alive that my old way is present and I know I can do better. So it started with these lights. That's where it started with this morning. That's where the problem first started. So I put the lights in, and then I still had the old lights in the car. I've got the accent lights like I showed you, but then I also have lights all underneath the car, okay? And them lights under the car were like this thick wire right here, really thick, got ends on it that plug in, okay? Bulky. What they are is they're rock lights off of like Amazon for like a pickup truck or something. So they're made for like DIY, okay? They're just made universal. So I literally had used the connectors that screw together and just wrapped up a bunch of the slack, had tucked it into kick panels. It's bulky wiring. It's made for underneath a truck. So every wire strand also has an external shield over it to protect it from rocks and mud and stuff like that. And I don't want that crap no more. So we're putting this one light inside the car that I showed y'all, and then the other one we're gonna put under the rear of the car, and then I might come back and add one under the hood of the car. The reason why them lights are under the car is because I put some in the back for like pouring puddles at night and stuff under the tires, and I put some up above the shocks, and they're not super bright being they're just rock lights, so I had to put like 4 in the back, one above each shock, one behind each tire. Whereas these new lights that Devin turned me on to, that are in Randy's car, you could just put one across your back off of like your parachute bar, the crossbar that your parachute ties into, and light everything up, pouring puddles, shocks, the whole 9 yards with just one LED strip. So that's 4 little rock lights in the back that don't need to be there. And then since I had 8 of them, I put 4 up front, just so you can kind of see on the ground up front if you need to for some reason at night. The problem with that is all that wire was kind of floating around, tucked away excess, because it wasn't cut to fit or built to fit. It's kind of like a universal Amazon fit kit. So that's where the anger started, is I got the wire cutters out and started cutting that old crap out because I don't want it in the car no more. And then that's when I said, okay, let's take a breather. Let's start hooking all of our headlights, running lights, turn signals back up, because I've already had this car wired once. It's just the issue with the first time I had it wiring was there was no connections. It went straight from the fuse block straight to where it needed to go. So there was no pass-throughs or no plugs. We went over all that in another video. So if you're an OG for the channel and you've been following for a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So we started redoing the wiring to add connections in. The problem with that, now I realized just a minute ago, is that I have the main power wire and the gauge wire that comes off my fuse block that ran over and fed the headlight switch, okay, power. So that was fused. And then off the headlight switch comes running lights, turn signals, and all that stuff. None of the turn signals, running lights, none of that stuff was fused. Everything was fused off of that one power feed in, technically. So I started thinking, and I said, well, that's not good. You need fuses just like any other car on turn signals, headlights, all that stuff needs to be fused. I mean, for safety. And so you're not running everything through one fuse. So that's where things went south fast, because then I was like, okay, so now I have to add a fuse block in, which I've actually already purchased the fuse block to add for exactly that, but I never did it. So then you start looking at everything, and then next thing you know, the wire cutters come out, and I just cut every bit of the crap out of the car again. So I've had the car body side wired once, started all over again, ordered another fuse block, put it all in the car, was working on that. Almost had that where that was ready to go, realized the fuse situation this morning, and now I have cut it out again. So now we're gonna wire it 3 times. I'm about to start on my 3rd time wiring the body side. But I promise you the 3rd time will be cleaner than the 1st time or the 2nd time, because I got more knowledge. The wiring of the actual making the car run, that's still just, we're gonna pay somebody. We're gonna pay somebody to do that, because right now I cannot wrap my head around it to save my life. So I'm gonna get back at it and try to wrap my head around how to do the fuse block and everything on a carbon board for the body side of the thing. I looked on Google real fast. There's all sorts of companies out there that make these things that you can wire everything with, leash electronics, everything. It was only like $245, $275. I just looked it up. It wasn't bad at all. I was about to order it, but then when I started paying closer attention, I was like, well, that really is just fuses and connections, and I already kind of have everything. So I might as well just put in a little extra work and just kind of build off of what I got instead of spending another $275. And then my luck is I'll spend that, and then whoever goes to wire the actual car, it won't be everything we need. So I was gonna try to keep it simple and just I do the body side, and then let whoever's wiring the drivetrain and the make the car go side, they can kind of do whatever they want. If they want to do it on a carbon panel and we put it somewhere or whatever. So that's where I'm currently at. I'm going to try to dive in here and see if I can make up a board with some Deutsch connectors and you know, make everything clean. So I'll catch y'all back whenever I complete something and I cool down a little bit. And still going to the racetrack this afternoon, it's supposed to be, so I'm just piddle farting through my Saturday, I guess. All right, so as you can see, we have a mess and we've got wires on this side now. So what we had was, we had all of that fuse block down there and everything was just a mess, and it really started bugging me. I'm not gonna waste my time spending a bunch to show you all this. This stuff is pretty crappy. I'm not a wiring person, but I'll just update you basically what I have done. So I took the electrical, and it was just a pain in the butt to work underneath the dash, okay? So anytime you can put something not under the dash, it's going to be way better, because if it's easier to get to, then you can do a cleaner, better job, of course. So that's one thing that always has bothered me since I put the fuse block on that side. This fuse block is pretty much just like the body side or anything that's not Holley related, basically. So I moved it over here. We're gonna run it under the driver's seat. You know, the passenger seat underneath it, we have the Dominator and everything under that. So the driver's seat, we're gonna have the body side. So for anybody that's new to the channel, I'll show you what we have on the passenger side. Right now it's all covered up just so that I can sit in there, but there's what we have on the passenger side. So it's all underneath the seat brackets, it's all of the Dominator, all the Holley connections will be touched up, so everything tucked up. So everything right here is drivetrain wise, you know, this runs the car, this side. And then in here, so on Randy's car, they had these for like the 5-volt reference and then grounds. So I believe that's what these will probably be used for. That has to do with the trans brake. However, we have found somebody who may wire the car. So I'm in the middle of talking to one of Randy's buddies about possibly wiring the car. And if so, they will be handling the making stuff run side of things, and they can set it up basically however he wants to set it up, you know, if he wants to move stuff. But all I've done over here is this is just going to be my body side of things. You know, headlights, taillights, all that kind of good stuff. This wire right here feeds the control panel up top, our switch panel. We have I'm running just a normal quick car switch panel, and then all of these go up to the switch panels, so you could tie in this side whatever direction you want, you know, for your switches, and you don't have to mess up there. If you need to change positions of, you know, switches, you can just move these wires around. You don't have to mess it up. So this is the main power in off the trunk, and then this feeds our fuse block, and then this right here is our main feed to go up here to our ignition panel. Let's see here. We hooked up so far. That's the wire that goes up to the ignition panel also. I believe this is the one that wires the switches. I just know it works, and I believe this one feeds the starter. So both of these go up to the panel. It's just they do two separate things. Well, like I said, that heavy duty wire, I'm pretty sure feeds the engages the starter. I haven't needed no grounds on here except for that one white wire, and then this comes in off of our roll bar light that we put on earlier, and so this comes up over, and then I have it just all my grounds I'm just going to tie into this screw which goes down into the floor. It's nut certed in the floor under the carpet, so it's a good nut cert, it's a good connection. But if you look over here, we have, we're now, let's see if I can find it because only one of these works. Yeah, so all of our lights work in here now, so they're back working. And then we put them lights on just a little wire I've just got laid up here for right now. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but it has a Deutsch connector over there where it comes down. So now you'll be able to unplug the Deutsch connector if you need to undo this wire that runs across to get it out of your way. I'm thinking I want to put all my wires in that track because the lower piece of the dash still goes on at a later date. And instead of having wires ran way up underneath there on the firewall, I kind of just want them all laying in the track with Deutsch connectors on that side, so you can just unplug them and, you know, take that piece out if you need to service it. So I have to get in here and make all these connections. All of this crap is what kind of set me off originally. This all has to do with parking lights, running lights, tail lights, and everything, so that's what I'm going after next. But I figured I would just kind of update y'all that I cleaned up the body side wiring and have moved it to the driver's side. All right, so I'm gonna have to call this one for tonight and wrap this one up. No matter how much I want to keep going, man, I was in my flow. I finally just fell right in it, finally just got it going after struggling all weekend. I mean, I've struggled and struggled, got frustrated, ripped wiring out, everything, and then finally all of a sudden it just smoothed right out tonight. So show you what I got done. It's like right after 10 o'clock, so I still got to shower, edit a video for y'all, wrap it up. So it'll be another midnight night like normal. Normally I edit between 11 and midnight. So let me show you where we're calling it quits at on the Comet. All right, so we'll start back here in the back. We got the wiring harness finally connected. So the only thing that I needed to do back here was connect the wiring harness back to the front. Pretty stupid of me as I was sitting here connecting all of this, and I did put a little nut cert in the flange right here for the ground, because that's the ground for the harness. So everything is all wire loomed up. You know, it's got all wire loom and Deutsch connectors. I mean, everything's nice back here. Need to really do something with all that wiring, but I don't know. Maybe just leave it down in there. It's not that big of a deal. But so check this out. So the only reason why I had to do that was because I told y'all in a couple videos that when I first did this, I ran wiring from the fuse block all the way to the item where it was supposed to go, or from the switch to the item, and there was no way to take the car apart. So I literally come back here and cut my wiring. Everything was working perfect. I cut my freaking wiring, which I was unhappy with the tail lights, the harness, because it had that cheap plastic stuff over it. Besides the cheap plastic wire loom, I literally cut that and redid that just to add a Deutsch connector and just to add the professional wire loom, so that if you ever need to change the tail light out, harness out, you can unplug it. Talk about being extra. I was sitting there wiring it tonight, and I was like, why did I do this? You know, like, it was done. Like, why not, even though it's not the best, why not, and it's in the trunk, like, you'll never even be opening the trunk, Harley. Why not just leave it alone? But I didn't, I redid it, so that's finally done. Here, we went over that. We have finally got a Deutsch connector on our plug that comes out the firewall up there. So everything's nice and neat, put together, heat shrink, wire loom. So all of these wires across the top are everything for the front end, all the lighting. Flip it over and you have your line lock and your brake switch, so for the pressure sensor that senses to turn on the brake lights. So all of that's in one thing. Cleaned up some other wiring right here. Kind of cut it and just put it to the side. So this piece right here is for the gauges. So it's a gas gauge and the power to the lights on the gauge. So we're just putting that to the side for right now, because that is extremely not important at all, being, probably won't even wire it, being that you can't even see my gauges because of the screen. So we'll probably leave that alone, but at least the wires ran there. I need to tape it up. Coming underneath here, you can tell if you watched this a second ago, there's not that much wiring here. So I kind of just started sorting it out and just trying to figure stuff out and say what's what. So this whole bundle right here, I haven't done anything with it, but this whole bundle goes up to the headlight switch. So we are running the factory headlight switch up here. So you'll pull it out, push it in, it'll be the factory headlights. The brown and white wire are for dome lights. So we're not even using dome lights right now. So we will be just tucking that back. and this is what you're left with on the factory headlight switch. I can't remember if there is washer wires in here. I'm pretty sure there's not. I'm pretty sure this is all running lights and turn signals. So that's going to be the next thing that we are going to address, but we're not going to address that tonight. So the harness, there was more wires laying here. The harness was coming from the rear of the car. So I've been struggling because I was trying to make all my connections up here. You've got wires going this way from the back of the car. You got wires coming this way from the front of the car as far as turn signals and headlights and tail lights and all that. And they all meet right here. That's why I had all this junction crap up here on this wall, if y'all remember. So I was literally sitting here crimping ends on it, Deutsch connector ends, because I was going to make basically, you know, where the harness that goes this way has a Deutsch connector on it, harness that comes this way, Deutsch connector on it, turn signal harness comes down, Deutsch connector on it, and then somehow after I got all three of them connectors on, I was going to figure out how to make a custom junction on the bench that basically tied all this crap together and sent the power where it's supposed to go. And then I started thinking, I was like, the harness that goes this way, let's just pull this out, okay, which is now right here. So it's not hooked up, but this is all you have. So you have, let's see here, reverse lights, brown is your running lights, tan is your gas gauge, because that is already back there in case the fuel cell, we want to put a sending unit. It's already back there to it. And turn signals left and right, okay? So why not, we just ordered the bars. I think I ordered 5-pack of 12 each. We're gonna put them right here. So we're gonna put like 2 bars right here. So we'll take this harness from the rear of the car. We'll come in here under the carpet and go up here, and then we'll go into the bar, okay? The running lights, turn signals, reverse lights, all that right there. Then we'll make we'll plug in Deutsch connector there and make another pigtail that comes from the front of the car, the headlights and such, comes in here and also goes in that bar. That way you can tie your running lights all together here, because you have multiple running light junctions. You know, you have like, let's see here, the front running lights, rear running lights, and then the running lights off of the turn signal switch. And then you got the front right and left turn signal, the rear right and left turn signal, and then the right and left turn signal wires off of the turn signal switch. So you're making a lot of junctions when you're tying all that together. So I said, you know, instead of making this complicated like I was doing, I was making it way over complicated trying to tie everything together right here where everything comes together. Sometimes you have to just stop and think and say, hold on, that's cluttered. Let's run pigtails to a board and let's make all of our junctions nice and neat, you know, across something like this. And the one I ordered, it actually comes with metal jumpers that you can cut off wherever you want to tie rows together. So I think that's going to work out freaking perfect. I'm stoked that I finally wrapped my head around how to tie all this together. Then I was sitting here and I was about to go after that bundle, and then I said, you know what? I said, let's do the turn signal. So this is my turn signal. Okay, it's just a little eBay one. It's right down there. You know, it's going to do left, right, whatever. It also has a horn, has emergency flashers that you can pull. You know, it has everything right there, a little universal one. You type in, go on eBay, type in universal turn signal, and you'll get this guy right here. This is what it looks like. A lot of them are chrome. So try to get a close up. Yeah, anyway. So it had freaking all these wires coming out of it. I think it was like 8 or 6 or something. No, 8. And I was like, you know, that it was just overwhelming because you just got wires dangling everywhere. This is what we have now. That's it. Beautiful, beautiful. So now you can start wrapping your head around stuff. You know, you don't have wires laying everywhere. So this is the harness we made. Got 2 pigtails coming off of it. So all your turn signal wires go into here. You know, basically it's everything out of this one goes into here, and then these 2 pigtails that come out of here, I don't know if y'all can guess where this is going to go because everything's going to be plugged right here. So these 2, let's see if we can lay that, are going to come right here to the steering wheel. So there's your bump box, your buttons on your steering wheel. Okay, so they have the cord, you know, but we'll zip tie these up here to the steering rack, or, you know, we'll maybe drill this TRZ bracket and put some of the P-clamps on it or something to hold this. So I just gave myself planning so that I'm not ever worried about it. But this is gonna go to the car's body. So this is all gonna come off the steering column. So this is everything for the steering column basically. So we can put that back up there like I had it just right there. So that's sorted out. All I got to do is throw the other Deutsch connectors on the bump button and everything for your steering wheel. Actually, that way they'll plug right in, and then we will take this and we'll make a pigtail with this one, and this will also, you know, run from here under here and tie in right there. So I'm super stoked that I got my head wrapped around this. Very overwhelmed with wiring, because like I'm the type where if wire is here and here and they meet, then let's ball all these up, wire nut them all together, and then let's run on over here to where they have to go, you know, and do whatever. And sometimes you just got to run it from here over to here, make your connections here, you know, and the pigtail from here, whatever, make your connections here instead. I mean, it seems simple to some people, but then people like me that we're really slow wrapping our heads around this stuff. You know, it takes a minute. So that's what sucks, that it's already 10 o'clock and we're talking Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 10 o'clock Sunday night. Probably 8 o'clock I got into my flow. So 8 o'clock Sunday night, I finally got into my flow where my brain, after thinking and struggling and processing all weekend, that my brain was finally starting to flow on this thing and be able to run with it. So I feel like I didn't get a ton done this weekend, but I guess you pick and choose your battles, right? You can't win them all, and at least we have a little bit better grasp on the wiring. Now, these wires that are out of here, that are coming out from the carpet, remember these go to the turn signal switch. So these are going to be some of the wires that get tied into this bundle. So we'll pull this bundle out like this so it's easier to understand. So this bundle, some of them are going to get tied in like this, and they'll literally clip together. So some will go in, and then, you know, some will actually come out and return off of that switch. So there's going to be a little bit of funky junction going on there. But like I said, we have you know, 2 of these that get pulled to the side that's not even used, and then I just have to remember what the other ones were. So park lights, because some of these are actually labeled. Running lights, it looks like. So I don't know. I got to refigure out everything, but I'll sort it out. I mean, I know one's power to it, but yeah, that's where we're at. Wires going to the shifter, for instance, off the back of it. I've already got all that ran. I've already got a big pigtail pulled out the back of that. All I need to do is shorten that up some now that I know everything's consolidated to the center console. And I just need to I was going to put a Deutsch connector on it, but I just need to shorten it up, or just roll it up and let it be. That way they can run it if they need to run it to that solenoid or whatever. I'm not going to mess with that. But like I've already tied it into the shifter. You know, my CO2 bottle, it is an air shifter, so I think I have to have a solenoid. I ordered the regulator for the air this weekend, but I think I have to have some kind of electric solenoid to actually command the shifts, and the shifter don't have that. Like all I got is the little ram on the bottom of it that actually moves the thing. So I've got to figure out that solenoid that I need for the air shifter. If y'all know what I need, drop a link. Let me show you what I got. The shifter I got is basically it's like a knockoff kind of the parachute handle. That's the parachute handle on the other side. So it's just a regular shifter, but you got this ram down here. You got your push connector right here that your air is going to obviously go in. And then I've got this pigtail that comes out the back. So the bottle I've got is right here. It is actually going to get moved to that side, I believe, now that we're changing a bunch of stuff up. But I have to put a regulator on it. Somewhere between here and there has to be an electric solenoid that once you open this, it reads the RPMs if you set it off of that, and it commands it to shift. So I need to figure out what that solenoid is. I don't want to mess up and order the wrong one with the Dominator, you know, the one that won't work with that or something. Like I don't know how that stuff works. So, we're gonna call that a wrap for tonight. Hopefully this video don't bore y'all too much. I feel like I have honestly probably 2 hours worth of filming out here since Friday. and I'm gonna try to cut this thing down to like 20 minutes for y'all. So if it runs past it and it gets into the 30-minute mark or whatever, then I apologize right now. But we'll stop rambling. We'll wrap this up. Hope y'all had a good weekend. Hope y'all have a good week. Hope you enjoy all the Fox Body stuff. Let me know if you have any questions that you want me to go over on the Fox Body stuff, and I'll catch you on the next one. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thanks, y'all.